like to talk to you about something that's important to a lot of people. We live here in Tennessee. A lot of people love to get outdoors. We have the lakes, we have farming, we have occupations that put us outdoors, and there are problems with those occupations or activities or fun that we have. It's called sun damage. The problem with sun damage is that it can lead to skin cancers. It's true that there are some people who do not get out in sunlight and they still have skin cancers, and this may be more of a hereditary trait, or maybe they've underestimated how much sunlight they've had. The problem is that if you're 15 and you're out getting sunburned, you may not really see anything until you're 45 or 55, 65, whatever. It takes a lot of time for sun damage to actually result in skin cancers. Although I've seen people who have been in their teens that have had skin cancers. So what I'd like to do today is tell you a few things about how to try to detect skin cancers chemically. This is also important because about 1997, for those people who are over 65, Medicare put out an advisory that they felt like a medicine which is called 5-FU and some other names that I'll tell you about in a minute needed to be used before any strange changes on the skin, lumps, bumps, places that were bleeding, were removed. Now this got modified some, but it wasn't exactly a bad idea. It was actually a good idea. So from that we developed a paper which is called Identifying Hidden Skin Cancers in Sun Damaged Skin. This is a protocol, a document, a sheet, whatever you want to call it, that gets into how you do it, how you identify potentially hidden skin cancers. This is something that we're happy to give each and every person that gets a prescription for the medicines that we're going to discuss in a minute. It's something that we even give to you even if you don't get the medicine. So you can ask for it, call it the skin cancer identification paper, or whatever way you can remember it. One of the best methods of identifying a hidden skin cancer, or even maybe something that might be semi-obvious, is to use one of these medicines. The interesting thing is that these medicines are all the same. They're just different brand names that have occurred over the years, or in some cases it might even be a generic name. For example, the three brand names that are presently used are Efudex, Carac, and Fluoraplex. They're all a little bit different in how much the concentration of something called 5-FU or 5-fluorouracil is present. Carac's got the least, Efudex has got the most, and Fluoraplex is in the middle. The strange thing is it doesn't matter which one you use necessarily, they tend to have the same end effect. The interesting thing is that probably about 4 or 5 years ago, Efudex was the cheapest. After a while, generics came out, which are known as 5-fluorouracil or 5-FU. It turns out they're actually more expensive than Efudex ever was. It's important for you to shop around and see which is the best buy. It's important to go from drugstore to drugstore. Some drugstores even make up a handmade version of this. This is, for example, a handmade version of 5-FU, which is made by a local drugstore in Hendersonville, but there are other drugstores that do the same thing. A lot of times the handmade tends to be cheaper. I can't guarantee it. Some drugstores will not file your insurance if you buy the handmade, so it becomes a matter of choice, which works out better. So, which is better to use? Well, I think again, the point is cost. Whatever you can get for the cheapest and the greatest amount in quantity is what is important. The next thing is how do you use these agents? Well, first of all, they come in both cream and lotion. I've got the cream here because it's a little bit easier to use. And you simply put it on any area where you think that you might have some sun-damaged skin. You have to be careful about certain areas, and I'm going to show you here. For example, when you put it in the side of your nose, if you rub it into the corner, it's going to start to react, and I'll explain react in a few minutes. So what you do instead is you put it on like this and you rub off to the sides. The eyelid you rub away from the eye. You don't want to get this in your eye. It is used to treat skin cancers or precancerous places in the eye. But you want to put it on like that. Getting it inside the ear, you have to be careful. You want to start on the inside and work out. You want to work inward, because if you get it down in the ear canal, it can be a terrible experience. Is it dangerous? Not necessarily, but it can certainly be unpleasant. So that's why it's important to be careful about these particular areas. Needless to say, rubbing it in under the arms would not be a good idea. Any place where you have a fold of skin, where the finger, the arm, whatever bends, that's a place where it'll concentrate. This medicine can be either used once or twice a day. If you use it once a day, that's fine. If you use it twice a day, you get a cosmetic effect out of it as well. You may wonder what I mean by that, and I'll go into that in a few minutes also. But let's stick with the main part. You want to use this medicine up to 4 weeks. Why up to 4 weeks? Well, because there are some people that put this medicine on for 2 or 3 days and they begin to react. What do I mean by react? I mean they either get red, or they get raw, or they get sore, or it gets tender, or it begins to burn, or it begins to sting. What do you do then? You call us. Make sure you stop the medicine and you call us. Very important, because we need to know why you're reacting. So if this happens after 3 weeks, what do you do? Call us again. Whenever it occurs, you need to call us. We're interested in where it occurred. For example, if you have a bright red place on the upper forehead and no other place is reacting, that is possibly a sign of a skin cancer. Some people come in here and they have eaten out places. And you may say, well, I don't want to do that. Well, generally it recovers. Last winter I had a large area react right there, but I think it looks normal. I don't have eyes in the side of my head, but I hope it looks normal. But it's, for the most part, a good medicine to use. It helps to destroy potential cancers. It helps to destroy places that might become a cancer. It's good for about 6 months to a year in its effect, so it does need to be repeated. The areas that sometimes we have people use it more often might be on the back of the hands, especially if they have thick, warty growths on their hands. That brings up another point. There are a lot of people that come in, they have large, warty growths on their back because of sun damage. They cook themselves, and it would be just cost ineffective to put a tube of cream on the person's back, because after 1 day, the medicine be gone. So there goes your money. So what we have you do is instead use aqua glycolic lotion. We have a recipe where you mix Efudex or even Carac, but we like the 5% Efudex better because you get more for your money. You mix it into this and you rub this mixture, which is Carac, Efudex, and a little bit of detergent. Detergent makes these two mix together well. And you use it up to 20 days. Maybe sometimes as much as 4 weeks if you're doing well. Again, you got to avoid the underarms, and you're looking to see if you have a reaction. Hopefully some of these big, ugly, brown, scaly things begin to peel off as well. If nothing happens after 4 weeks, what do? Call us. There's a lot of calling involved here. We need to know what's happening, why it's happening, or what didn't happen. So records, records, records. Good records are important